Okay, so this time we're going to be going over basic transformations in AutoCAD. So now it's kind of hard to transform anything without something presently drawn. So let's construct something here. So let's make a little square, why not? And I'm going to make a circle as well. Here. Okay, so some basic transformations. Most of your transformations can be found under the Modify group of your Home tab, if you're using the ribbon, that is. Okay, you can use the Move command, select an object, okay, specify the base point. Okay, you can either set the base point on the object or somewhere near it, or even 20 miles away if you wanted. And then you specify the displacement. I've now moved the circle. Okay, so let's try another one. What about rotating? Okay, rotating works kind of similar to your move command. So if you end up rotating instead of moving, select your objects, press enter, specify a base point, then specify an angle of rotation. And we have it. It's been rotated. So next we could use the copy command. I'm going to copy this circle here. Okay, pretty much like the move command. Select the object, hit enter, and move it to whatever point you want it to go to. There. Except, unlike the move command, I keep my old copy. So that's pretty useful. Okay, what about mirror? Now the objects I currently have are symmetrical, so that's going to be kind of hard. Let's draw something simple over here, like an arc. Okay, then I'm going to do the mirror command. Select the object. Specify the first point of the mirror line. So, with the mirror line, you can have the line going in any direction. And you notice the ghost object that follows around as to what it'll create. So, I'm going to make it right there. Okay, do I want to erase the source object, yes or no? I'll say no, just because. So, that's the mirror command. What other commands do we have? Well, we have trim. Okay, trim command works if something intersects something else. So why don't I invoke the move command again? Maybe even a little rotation. That right there. Then invoke the rotate command. Rotate it 45 degrees. Use the move command again. Okay. Let's say I wanted to trim out this little part of the square. Okay. I invoke the trim command. It asks, okay, select cutting edges. Okay, so I'm going to select these two lines as my cutting edges because I want to be able to cut this little line here. So you select your cutting edges, press enter, then select the object to trim. So I'm going to get rid of this line here. There you go. It's been cut. Okay, so something else we could probably do, like the chamfer command. Okay, with the chamfer command and also with the Phillip command, which we'll get to shortly, you probably want to specify the method by which you're going to do your chamfer. So, let's say I give two distances. So I'm going to select distance here. So my first distance is 1, and my second distance can be 2. Okay. First and second distance affects the lines that you click on in order. So, like the first line will be your first distance, and your second will be your second distance. So I'm going to select my first line here, and then my second line. While I have my second line highlighted, you can see the ghost about where the chamfer is going to be placed and how it's going to look. So, there, I have a chamfer. Simple little 1x2 chamfer. So, next, I'm going to use the Phillip command. Okay, you might have seen the Phillip command there instead of the chamfer command, but that's because they're stacked. Okay, so, just like this case, I want to give a radius to my Phillip, and say it is a 3-unit radius. I'm going to select 2 objects and draw the Phillip. Okay. So what else could we do? Okay. Well, we can use the erase command to get rid of this. So select the erase command, select the object in question, hit enter, and there it goes. Also, you can press the delete key to get rid of it. A lot easier too. Now let's see about, how about the mirror command? Oh wait, we already did that, didn't we? I'm going in circles, aren't I? Okay, stretch. We haven't done stretch yet. So with stretch, you have to select objects by crossing window. That's the green window with the hatched lines. I'm going to see about stretching these 2 arcs down here, seeing how that'll look. So I selected 2 of them with the crossing window. Okay, press enter. Specify a base point for my stretch, and then give a stretch distance. Okay, so that turns them basically into ellipses. Okay. Now, let's see if that's what the stretch command does. What does the scale command do? So if I want to scale, okay, I select my objects, I specify a base point, okay, and scale. Okay, changes the size of everything. One thing too about the scale command is if I pick a base point out here in the distance, it's going to scale the distance between my objects and the base point. So that can sometimes be useful, sometimes it can get annoying if you don't put your base point in the right direction, because if you have it in the wrong spot, then you'll have to move your object back after you've scaled it. So what's something else we could do? Okay, we could use the array command up here. Got a couple of different types of arrays, but I'm going to focus on the rectangular array for this one. So, invoke the command, select my objects, press enter, and it gives me an array. Okay then, nice. So, with the array command, okay, I can change the number of columns if I wanted to. Let's say I want another column. There's a 5th column there. If I wanted one less row, okay. You can also change the distance or total distance between all of your rows and your columns. So I can change the distance using the grid or by typing in a number. Like so. Same thing goes for rows and columns, or for rows as it does for columns. So there you go. Something useful about the array command that's been changed in more recent versions of AutoCAD is associativity. Okay, if that is on and you exit the array, then the entire array will still be as an array object rather than individual lines, circles, and such. So if I were to stretch the grips or edit it through the window up here, it would still be editable. And you can close it and it'd be just fine. So what if, instead of that, what if I wanted to be able to edit each one of these objects individually? Would that mean I'd have to copy them all? Actually, on the contrary, it would mean that I can create an array that is merely not associative. So make sure associative is off. Okay. Reset some of my settings here. Oops. Okay. Then if I close the array, okay, my objects are individual objects now, which means I cannot change the array anymore because it's as is now. That's how I created it. If I wanted to change the array, I'd have to undo that and recreate it. Okay, so I'm going to undo the array command. Okay, and I'm going to use a command which is explode. Okay, which breaks apart objects into base components. A base component would be like a line or a circle or an arc. Okay, your rectangles are made up of lines, of little bitty lines, and your circles and arcs, however, are just circles and arcs. You can't actually explode those into little bitty smaller arcs. But I can explode this line here, which is a polyline. It's what's left over from my rectangle that I created at the beginning of this. If I select with the explode command active, press enter, now it's in little bitty lines rather than a whole polyline object. So that's explosions without the big sound effect, I guess. So, and at that point, I think I have covered all of the basic modification tools in AutoCAD for deforming, copying, and transforming your objects.